So today's story is definitely not one that's very fun to look back on. Definitely not fun at all to experience, and I hope none of you ever have to experience it. So hope you enjoy this. Leave a like on the video if you do, and let's jump into it. So today's story time all takes place when I was 17 years old. Now, at 17, I was out of high school. I had dropped out at this point. I was doing YouTube full time. And for the most part, everyone in my hometown that I knew was friends with me. I usually am friends with most people that I meet because I'm not a mean person, and usually they aren't either. But unfortunately, when you gain success on the internet or just anywhere, people are going to hate on you and plot on you and want the worst for you, and there's not any reason behind it other than jealousy, and they're just envious because you're living a life that they want. And it's normal to feel jealous of people. That's a normal human emotion, I feel like. But what isn't normal is acting on it in a really immature and fucked up way. For example, sabotaging your friend because they're doing better than you. That's messed up. I have friends who make way better music than me, in my opinion. But all it makes me want to do is make better music. You know what I mean? It just makes me want to be better so I can be on their level. You know what I mean? But some people would see that and be like, oh, they make better music than me? I'm going to tell them that their music sucks. And those people suck. Fuck them. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Essentially, I had a lot of friends in my hometown who really liked what I did and were really supportive. But unfortunately, I had a lot of people in my hometown as well that knew of me but didn't really know me personally and would just hate on me all the time. And that's what today's about. So today's story time all starts off as a regular day at 17 years old. I was out by myself at the grocery store buying stuff for my mom. She wanted me to get some stuff for the house, so I was out there getting stuff. And I was just alone. I was at the grocery store, just with my shopping cart, going around the aisles, getting what my mom needed. I had her list out. And yeah, I was just getting groceries for her. Really nothing out of the ordinary there. But unfortunately, the grocery store that I was at was also close to my high school, which means when school would let out, people would always flock to that grocery store to go and buy snacks after school and drinks and stuff like that. And also, unfortunately, the time was 2 o'clock. Now, my high school let out at 1:50, so that means at any minute, kids were going to get to the grocery store and come in and start going through the aisles, getting snacks and stuff. And that could mean two things for me. Well, actually, it could mean three things. One, a bunch of people from my high school that I'm friends with could show up, and I see people that I know, and, just kind of hang out for a second, say hello to them. That's fine. Two, I could see a bunch of people that I don't know, but know of me from the internet and YouTube and stuff, which is also fine most of the time. Most of the time, it's just people are like, hey man, like your vids. That's awesome. I love that. Or three, it could be people that know me from YouTube who don't like my vids and are going to start a problem with me, because that has happened before, and you've all heard stories about that in the past. Well, all three things kind of ended up happening. I'll tell you about it now. So, I'm in the aisle, I'm grabbing milk from my mom, and sure enough, I start hearing these kids coming up behind me who sound like high schoolers. They sound like people my age. So I turn around, and sure enough, it's a bunch of kids from my high school. And I ended up knowing two of them, and I recognized them, and I was like, yo, what's up? And they were like, holy shit, dude, how you been? And two of the people in that group I had classes with before I dropped out of high school, so I knew them pretty well. And we were just talking, kind of catching up. I gave them my new number because I want to hang out with them soon. And that was dope. And after that, I said bye, and I went back to shopping. And nothing really happened for a couple minutes, and then I went to another aisle to get some fruit snacks, because I wanted some damn fruit snacks for my house, and I turned into the aisle, and it must have been National fucking Buy Fruit Snacks Day, because I turned into that aisle, and no joke, there's fucking 15 kids in that aisle that all go to my high school, and one of the groups of people in that aisle, one of the groups of kids, I kind of knew of, but I didn't know. I didn't know them personally, but I knew that they had a reputation for robbing people in my high school. They were literally known as those kids, not to get near, because they were just very, very, malicious. And they had, a really bad reputation around our high school between a lot of people. Now, usually I don't buy into that shit, because rumors are bad. But this seemed a lot more legit, if that makes sense. And, of course, one of them turns their head and notices me. And I thought he didn't know who I was, but immediately he goes, yo, Austin. And I was like, what's up, man? Because I didn't know his name. And he's like, dude, you probably don't know who I am, but I watch your YouTube videos. And I was like, oh, dude, that's awesome. And this one kid turns around that was with him, who didn't really know me at all and goes, he does YouTube? And the other dude's like, yeah, like he makes like YouTube videos, like these story time videos. They're the shit. I was like, yo, thank you so much, bro. And I dapped him up and like kind of hugged him, and we just kind of talked for a second. And while I'm talking to this kid that knew about my videos, his friends all behind him are like whispering to each other and like looking at me and giving me side eye, which is really weird, right? Like it seems like his friends didn't like me, but he did. Maybe because they didn't know who I was and he did. Like it was really weird. Literally the only thing they knew was that I had like a successful YouTube channel because their friend just told them that. They didn't actually know anything about me personally, or like ever seen the video, so they didn't know what I did on YouTube. So anyway, we ended up talking for like 10 minutes, and after I'm done talking to that kid, his friend steps up again, the one that was kind of like whispering around to his other friends and giving me side eye, and he's like, yo, so like you do YouTube? And I was like, yeah. He goes, does it make good money? Now that felt like a really weird question, especially coming from him, because, you know, they're notoriously known for robbing people in my high school, and I didn't want to give into that, so I was like, nah, honestly, man, it doesn't pay that well. And I'm a shitty liar, so he can immediately tell I was full of shit. And he goes, nah, man, don't lie to me. Like, I know about YouTubers. Like, y'all be making that YouTube money. And he starts laughing, and I just kind of laugh with him because I didn't know if he was joking or not. And after that, I'm just like, okay, well, have a good one, y'all. I got to go. And he's like, all right, have a good one, bro. And I dap him up again, and his friends all dap me up. And I thought we were fine. I thought that was the end of that interaction, and I would just leave. And I start walking towards the front to check out because I got everything I needed. And I check out, I buy my groceries, and I start heading towards the exit, right? And I'm thinking, okay, cool. Like, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. This all went really well. And then as I'm walking out, I can see that same group of kids at the front of the store waiting for me. Like, they're waiting, they're watching the doors, they're watching people walk out, they're looking for me. And the minute I get out those doors, I'm telling myself, like, okay, you know what? I'm overthinking it. It's going to be fine. And as I'm thinking that to myself, I get fucking smacked in the side of the skull by a closed fist punch. Like, this kid just comes up to the side of me and just sucker punches me in the head. And yeah, I went down immediately because that is the most disorienting thing ever, because he basically just gave me a fucking concussion. And they start kicking me, bro, like just beating the fuck out of me. And they're yelling, like, empty your pockets, empty your pockets. I can't even do it because I'm so disoriented. And one of them takes his hand and goes into my pants and grabs my wallet and my phone and starts going through them. He's like, what's your passcode? And I was like, I don't know. He goes, bullshit. And he hits me again. I was like, I don't know. I wasn't giving him my fucking passcode, bro. My phone had my YouTube, my Twitter. My bank was signed in on there like a few minutes ago, so that was probably still open. Like, I'm not going to let him fucking rob me on there. Like, that's not good. And I am just, like, disoriented on the ground, taking hits, getting jumped by these scumbags from my high school. And I can see in the distance, the one kid's just standing there watching, and he looks really upset, like, really, like, depressed looking. And it was the same kid that said he liked my videos. So I could tell that he didn't want to do it. And his bullshit friends took over and did something really fucked up that he didn't want to do. So anyway, I'm laying on the ground, taking hits, just getting jumped, and it felt like an eternity. I can't lie. Like, it was only probably a good minute, but it felt like an hour. And luckily, a bunch of my homies from my high school were coming out shortly after I was, after getting their drinks and their snacks. And it was those two kids that I saw earlier in the store that I gave my number to, and their friends. And they immediately got involved, and they started fighting back and, like, sticking up for me. And they took over real fast. Like, my one homie swung on one of them and got him off me. The other homie took someone else on. The other two that didn't even know me, they were just mutual friends of my friends, got involved and started fighting as well. And they got them away. And they were winning. Like, they not only got them away from me, but, like, they were winning the fight as well. And immediately the dudes ran off. They didn't even try and fight back after a while. They just literally ran off. And my homies came back up to me. They helped me get up. They, like, made sure I was okay. The two mutual friends they were with were asking me if I was good as well. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm good. Like, thank you guys so much. You guys didn't have to get involved. Like, I appreciate it. They're like, dude, fuck that. Like, those kids are scumbags. We're not going to let them get away with that shit. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, I'm just so grateful for y'all. And one of them steps up to me and goes, hey, you forgot something. And he goes in his pocket and he takes out my phone and my wallet and he hands them back to me. And I was like, what? Like, you got these back? I didn't even see that happen. I was so out of it. And he's like, fuck yeah, I did. And I was like, bro, thank you. And I gave him a hug. And yeah, like, in the span of a minute, I lost all faith in humanity and then gained it back. So, like, it was a very wild experience and a very painful one. I got diagnosed with a concussion because like the next day I just had a huge headache and it wouldn't go away. And I called up my doctor and told him what happened. And he was like, yeah, you definitely have a concussion. Like you're showing all the symptoms of it. Like I had a headache. I was confused. I was really tired. Light was hurting my eyes. It just all pointed to concussion. And concussions suck. I've had like a couple in my life, and they are not fun to go through. But yeah, that's the story of how I got jumped outside of a grocery store because some kids probably thought I was really rich. You know what the most ironic thing about all of this is? I had no cash in my wallet. So if they got away with it, they would have made near nothing, except for my phone. They could sell that, but other than that, it wouldn't have been anything. So anyway, that's pretty much the end of the story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace. And after he handed me back his stuff and I said thank you, the other kid walks up, the one that was friends with all them and like pointed out that I was a YouTuber in the store and said that he liked my vids and like didn't jump me. He's like, dude, I am so sorry. I didn't know they were going to do that. Like, I feel horrible. And I was like, bro, you didn't know they were going to do that? Like, you were waiting out there with them. He's like, bro, they said they wanted a picture with you. I thought they were like just going to get a photo or something because like they knew you had a lot of followers. Like, I didn't know they were going to do that. And honestly, I did believe him. I can't lie. Like, he did seem like he was telling the truth. And the fact that he didn't jump in makes me think he was telling the truth as well. So, like, all I said was, hey, man, thank you for not jumping in with them. Have a good one. He's like, yeah, man, I'm so sorry. And he, like, dapped me up and then left.